Alrighty, race fans, welcome to another edition of the Track Review. Alright, in this particular episode, we are going to take a look at Tyco's Super Duper Double Looper with upside down jump. I haven't been one to really do a lot of sets like this, but this one came to me from a good customer that we actually did a little horse trading to get it, and he thought it was kind of interesting and thought maybe I'd be interested in doing a track review on it, and indeed I think so. We're going to do this here. The only thing, it didn't come with any cars, so we'll have to do something different on that. But this is a set that isn't rare, but it really isn't all that popular either. You don't see a lot of them out there, and the jump loops is something they didn't use a lot of on a lot of their other sets. I've set the track up. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But yeah, I think all in all, it'll be interesting to see just how well this thing works. So we'll shake things out and get to racing some cars here in a second. All right, here's the set. As I figured it out, I didn't have any instructions to put this thing together, so I had to kind of intuit my way through it. There was a bit of a challenge in trying to figure out how some of this stuff went. There's a couple of turns here, this particular piece, this piece, and one other one that's not a 9-inch radius. And it made it a little difficult to try to figure out which way this thing went together. You just had to keep trying stuff till it worked. Had to bring in some different brand track supports because it didn't come with any of the original Tyco supports, but that's not a problem there. And then of course I didn't have the cars, the Lamborghinis, so I got a Tyco wide pan. That one's a little hopped up, and then here's a lifelike T car, so we're going to try that. We're going to get our test driver Jet Lag. He'll be in here in just a minute. He's coming in from out of town, so I think it'll be best to try to get him to run this thing, and then I can run the camera and we can get some hopefully some good videos. Alrighty, race fans, Jet Lag came into town. He's our test driver and he's going to run some laps here. We've been testing this thing out, and it's got a very, very specific speed where these cars need to run. I had a problem trying to find anything that would run good on it, so we've got a Tyco that's got a little bit of hop-up stuff in it, and then a standard lifelike T chassis with some better tires on the back. So we'll sit here and see what we can do. That was close. Yeah. That was a good one. So let's take a little boost. Scoot it down.
Different car, different plate.
There you go.
I think the body's doing this correctly.
Alright, so let's wrap it up here, guys. Super Duper Double Looper from Tyco. And kind of an interesting little set. I mean, there was a little teething pains to get the thing set up. Had to find some extra parts, but the set did not come to me complete. It was probably 90%, 95% there. Had to get some cars, a guardrail, another couple pieces of track. There was no instruction sheet, so it took me about an hour, believe it or not, to try to pull it all together and get the thing set up to where it would run. But all in all, it's kind of a fun little track. Like a lot of these sorts of tracks where there's a lot of loops or jumps or whatever, the cars tend to run at a fairly constant speed to get them to go through whatever trick maneuver that they have in the set. So there's not really a lot of racing going on in this. I suppose if you had two people together side by side, there may be some of that, but initially with the size of this set, the cars moving at the speeds that they are, there really isn't any driving involved. But all in all, a very interesting set. Once you kind of get the hang of it, it runs pretty good. And hats off to the Tyco engineers, long retired or fired, that worked on this project. I think on this particular item, I think they did a pretty good job. In terms of getting the jump design and the loops and whatever. It's a pretty stable track, doesn't move around much. So all in all, hope you'd enjoy it, and look forward to some comments that you may post. Thank you for joining us.